Hey my YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. For my new viewers, please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And yes guys, my husband loves pig's tail and I'm always making stew peas with pig's tail for him, but he also always talking about corned pork and ackee. So I have some pig's tail in the fridge and I decided to fry it. It's not corned, it's fresh pig's tail. It's not the corned one, so I'm gonna fry some pig's tail and ackee for him. So if this is a video that you're interested in, please go ahead and continue watching. So right here I have my fresh pig's tail. What I did is I went ahead and I cut them up, and I just simplifying the grizzle part or the bone, the soft bone, and I cut it right there. Otherwise it's gonna be hard for you to cut it up. Alright, so I want them in small pieces. So what I'm gonna do now is rinse them with some lime juice. So now it is nicely cleaned. As you can see, look at how clean that look. You can see the difference before and after. So now I am going to put it in my pressure cooker. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to add some flavor to this while it's pressuring, because we need it to get tender before we fry it. All right, so I'm going to add some scallion, onion, garlic, some thyme, and I'm going to add some Scotch bonnet pepper and a little piece of jalapeno pepper, just to add a little flair. All right, so we're going to put all of this in the pressure cooker, and I'm not going to pour a lot of water, just about enough water to cover the pig's tail. And as soon as it is pressure, we're going to head over to the stove. So I'm going to add some salt to flavor, which is 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of my creole seasoning, just to add a nice flavor to the pig's tail while it's cooking. So now I'm gonna set it to pressure for 20 minutes, and guys, after the 20 minutes it was as tender as I wanted it. I didn't have to give it more time. So now it's finished pressuring. I'm going to strain off the water, let it cool down, and then add a little more seasoning to the meat. So as you can see, they came out nice and whole, and they're still tender. You see the skin is falling off, the meat is tender. So that's what we're looking for. We don't want it to boil out and mash out, so you have to be careful. As I said, I give mine 20 minutes and it was good and proper, as you can see. So what I'm going to add to this is a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of cayenne powder, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. So whatever powdered seasoning you have that you normally use, go ahead and use that. And we don't want this to be salty, guys, so that is why I don't add too much seasoning. I just add the paprika, the cayenne, and the Cajun. So you know, it adds a nice flavor, but it's not overbearing. So we're just gonna allow this to marinate, and then we're gonna head over to the stove and fry them nice and crisp. So now that it's time to fry them, guys, let me be honest with you. This was popping all over. So you're either gonna have to fry this outside, because my stove was covered with oil. So you're either gonna have to fry this outside, or you're gonna have to cover it as I did. I had to cover this down so that I can protect myself and protect the things around it, because the oil was flying all over the stove and stuff. So when you cover it, you have to make sure that you pump your stove up on high so that it can still fry nice and crisp and don't produce any water, because if you don't have the stove on high, it's gonna produce, you know, liquid, I don't want that because we're going for crisp. No, this is the ackee that I'm going to use, the tin ackee, and it's the first time I'm using this brand. I normally use the Linstead Market one, so if you can get that ackee, trust me, it's like picking the ackee straight from the tree. It is nice. The Linstead, I'm not doing an advertisement for them, but I'm gonna be honest, the Linstead Market is the best tin ackee that I've eaten. Alright, so this is the seasoning that I'm gonna use. I have some bell peppers, scallion onion, and some Scotch bonnet pepper. So I'm gonna remove some of the oil, and then I'm going to add my seasoning and saute them until my onions are nice and soft and translucent. If you like your onions crunchy, then you don't have to saute it for a very long time. So I don't like my onions crunchy, so I'm going to saute mine until they're translucent, and then I'm going to add my ackee, and then the only powdered seasoning that I'm going to add to my ackee is black pepper. So I push my pig's tail one side so that I can deal with my ackee and get it nice and flavored in the onion and scallion and the peppers. So yeah, and it all depending on you, if you like your ackee whole or if you like it crushed out a little bit. I don't like mine whole, I like it crushed out a little bit. And even though I'm cooking this for my husband, he can't tell me how to do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna mix it up. Yeah, mix it up nicely. And I added my black pepper, and then I'm gonna stir everything in together. So have you ever heard the term how people can time pot? My husband is a perfect example for that. He came home right as soon as I turned off the stove. It's like he was timing me. So I dished him a plate, and we're gonna hear his verdict. So stay tuned. He's going to try out the pig's tail, the fried pig's tail and ackee, which if he has never tried it this way before, he always have it stewed with stewed peas. Or back in the days, his parents used to cook the corned pork and ackee. Everyone knows.
So you plate pretty mate, you know which part we start. No man.
I can.
I take my time, work myself in and enjoy food. So, that's how I rush a thing so. I just go on people, I just go on Mother Road, real yard style. Remember them days eh? Yeah. Fire up piece and cook up with ackee. Fire up something, I tell you know what.
The funny here that people are Rasta. Rasta eat up the pork.
I mean, yeah, I live for myself, I don't live for the crowd. Mother Road. People, remember the thumbs up, okay? Remember the like button, and remember the share button. Alright?
So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you all for clicking on my video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed as yet, and stay tuned for another amazing recipe.